Hello, thank you so much for coming to my channel. My name is Jill. Thank you for being here once again. I really appreciate all the support. Today we're going to be talking about 4 dupes. They're dupes that either I've heard of or I've just been wondering about and I found myself and I wanted to test them out. So some of these are dupes and some of them we're just testing them out and we will see. I do have a Charlotte Tilbury Pink as in Blush dupe video coming up in a couple of weeks. So if you're interested in seeing that, make sure you subscribe and come back. But for now, we're going to do some other blushes. We're going to do some eyeshadows, lip glosses. Stay tuned and let's get into the video. My first dupe is actually going to be lotions, and this is the Purito Unscented Recovery Cream, the Centella Unscented Recovery Cream, and I love this. As you can see, I have pretty much finished the entire tube. There's a tiny bit left, which is why I need to do this dupe now because this is pretty much gone. It's a dupe for the Dr. Jart Ceramidin Cream. I also love this. It is really, really nice and nourishing, and it's just a definite dupe. It feels the exact same, and the Purito one is much, much more affordable. So let me put on one on this side. It's very luxurious feeling, extremely hydrating, does not irritate the eyes whatsoever. I really, really like the Dr. Jart cream, but Dr. Jart is expensive, as we all know, and this Purito one, it has pretty much the same exact texture and feeling, except it retails for closer to $10. So they do look different, but they feel super similar. Neither leaves any residue on the face. It blends right in. It's great for underneath makeup. And I wouldn't say they're the exact same, but they do feel extremely similar and they dry down very similarly as well. And they also are pretty close in formula wise. Like this one is a little bit more wet and tacky, but it dries down to really be the same as the Dr. Jart. I think that if you like the Dr. Jart and you've been looking for a cheaper alternative, you would like this because it's just super, super similar. It is a little bit more, it's not like a matte moisturizer. However, once it dries down, it feels pretty much the same as the Dr. Jart cream. While I do like the Dr. Jart a lot, I think that the Purito one is very, very comparable and it's, again, much cheaper. Now we're going into what I think is the most exciting part of this video because I've been looking for a dupe for the Nars blush in Outlaw for I don't even know how long, forever. It's my favorite blush of all time. Let me show you what it looks like. It's just like a really nice deep berry blush, and they don't make this anymore. I am borrowing this, but this is not mine. I don't own it. I had to declutter mine. It was disgusting. I had been using it forever. Since they don't make it anymore, I've been trying to find a dupe and nothing has really been as good or as pigmented. And I think I might have found something, not the same, but pretty damn close. This is an Almay blush and this is a 400 Wild Berry. So based on the picture and the description online, I thought that this Almay blush just looked like a very, very similar blush to the Nars one. So let me go ahead and open it and then we will compare side by side. Obviously the packaging with Almay is not going to be as nice as Nars packaging, but I do want to note that immediately already, this is already falling out of the component. So there's glue back here and it's already pretty much, I'd say 99.99% detached from the actual case that it comes in. I might use some nail glue to glue it back together just so it doesn't completely fall out every time I try to use it. But I'm just noting the differences in packaging include not only obviously Nars is higher end, but this is just like completely falling apart. So compared to the Nars packaging, which is obviously beautiful. But let me hold up both side by side. They look really similar in person, not the exact same shade, but pretty darn close. And I would say, at least on the top layer, the Nars one seems to have more shimmer than the Almay one, but the Almay one seems more so to be like a sheen rather than glitter, and the Nars has like straight up glitter. So again, not the exact same shade, but pretty close in my opinion. I'm gonna do some swatches. So this is Almay and this is Nars. I would say the Nars is definitely a little bit more pink, and then the Almay is a little bit more orange. So I'm gonna take my clean-ish, I'm using the switch so that there's no product on it. But I'm gonna go in with my clean brush with the Nars on this side, and then I'm gonna do the Almay on this side. So I'm just going into the pan here. This is a pretty pigmented blush, so I'm gonna go lightly at first just so I don't overdo it. Oh yeah, I love this color. I'm much more into deeper berries than corals and light pinks. Here is the Nars side. Let me go into the switch again, and I'll show you just on my arm. There's no pigment coming off. No pigment, so we're completely switched on over. So now I'm gonna go into the Almay. Not sure how pigmented or not pigmented this is. It's my first time using it. Again, just testing out to see if I can get some dupes here. But let me go in lightly like I did on the other side. Okay, I don't think that this Almay blush is as pigmented. It is pretty. And that might just because I'm going in for the first time and it may have a little bit of a coating on the top, but I don't think it is as pigmented right off the bat as the Nars one. But on the face, they look really, really similar. Oh, I went overboard a little bit on this side. They're blended out, and I would say they look pretty much identical on the skin. This definitely looked more reddish and deeper and more like a burnt orangey undertone than the Nars did, but once they're blended out, I think they look almost identical. You can slightly tell that this has more pink to it, but just barely. I'm gonna go stand in front of the window so we can do a natural light shot and you will see what I'm talking about. As I was saying, I think that they look pretty much like the same exact color on my face. Maybe this one's a slightly more pink, but really, I think, especially when you look straight on, they look almost identical to where I don't really necessarily feel like I need to keep hunting for a dupe or anything, because this is very close in my opinion. My lips are lined, so we can move on to the next dupe. So I have heard that the Fenty gloss bombs can be very, very easily compared to the Maybelline lifter glosses. I have never tried these out side by side. Just based on my impressions of using both of them, I don't personally think it's a dupe, but again, I've never tried them on side by side. So let's test this out. So I have the Fenty Gloss Bomb in Fussy, and then I have the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Moon. And they're very, very similar colors. Again, not the exact same, but very similar. Before we even get into putting these on and swatching them, I do want to say I personally think that the Fenty is a little bit thicker of a formula than the Maybelline ones. I know a lot of people say these are dupes, and I've, again, never tried them out side by side, so that's what we're going to do now. But maybe color-wise they're dupes. I don't know. We're going to find out. But formulation-wise, before I even put it on, I can tell you now, I very much think that the Fenty, although it is similar, not super goopy or anything, it is thicker than the Maybelline one. However, I do think the Fenty one gives you a little bit more voluptuousness in the lips, a little more volume, a little bit more shine, just because it is thicker. But let me show you, and we're going to do swatches first, and then I'll put it on. So this is the Maybelline. And I just did one dip. We're gonna keep it equal here, so we're just gonna do one dip. And here is the Fenty. There are the swatches, and they look pretty similar. I would say the Maybelline one has a little bit more of an orangey undertone, and then the Fenty one is definitely slightly more pink, but they're super, super similar. I think a lot of people more so, though, are saying it's a dupe because of the amount of shine that it gives you. So let's put the Fenty on this half and the Maybelline on this half, and let's see what all the fuss is about. No pun intended, because I'm using Fussy. Scent-wise as well, these do have a scent, but it's not the same scent. So this more reminds me of like vanilla, and then the Maybelline one more so reminds me a little bit of like coffee and coconut. But here is one side with the Fenty, and this side has nothing. Let me go into the Maybelline now. All right, and I just did one dip on each side, and they definitely are not dupes. I know a lot of people say they're dupes, and maybe they're similar, especially in finish, but I don't think they're dupes. I think that the Fenty is thicker and a little bit stickier. However, it is giving me like so much shine. And the Maybelline one, while I do love it and I think it's very comfortable, it's not giving me as much glitter and as much shine as the Fenty one is. So again, we're gonna go over to the window. We're gonna do some shots in natural lighting and I will show you the difference. I think both are really, really beautiful. I just don't think that they're dupes for each other. So we're in natural lighting now. So you can pretty much see that demarcation in the middle of my lips, separating one lip gloss from the other. And yeah, I definitely don't think that these are dupes for each other. Let me get in focus. I definitely don't think these are dupes for each other. I think that the Fenty has more glitter and more shine, and it's heavier and it actually smells a little bit better than the Maybelline ones. The Maybelline ones don't smell bad, but I just like the scent of the Fenty better. However, I do think that the Maybelline ones are much more comfortable. They're much lighter weight and they're not as goopy. You can even see when I open the Fenty one, it is goopy. Like you can see a string of lip gloss coming out as I open up the component and take the doe foot out. So consistency wise, they're definitely not the same. I did just mix them together because it was really bothering me how this side felt heavier than this side. Again, I think that they are equally as pretty and I think that they are really nice, but they're just straight up different glosses. They're different textures, different formulas. They look different and they feel different. Up next, I'm going to try some dupes for the Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick Compact. These were going viral a few months ago and they are really, really pretty. And I think that the formula is nice. However, I think that these shades are nothing spectacular. I think that you can easily dupe them with a lot of neutral toned eyeshadow palettes that you probably already have. Here are the swatches. And again, they are really pretty colors. I just don't think that they're anything special that you can't find at a cheaper price. But let's go into some Juvia's Place. And we have two potentials here. The Juvia's Place one is similar. They're not the same, but they're similar. So this is Juvia's Place right here. And this is Bobbi Brown. This is like a $10 palette. But let's try out some more. I do think that this Bobbi Brown eyeshadow brick is very beautiful. I'm not disputing that. I think it's really, really pretty. However, I think that the Juvia's Place Warrior palette is very, very, very similar. So for the price, I pick Juvia's Place over the Bobbi Brown, even though I think the Bobbi Brown is really pretty, and I don't think that they are exact dupes for each other. I think that they're really, really close in tones. You get more eyeshadow with the Juvia's Place, and this is for like $10, $12, whereas the Bobbi Brown one is like $25. You get less shades and you get less product. So I'm going to show you swatches on the back of my hand and pick out which one is more vibrant, and then I'll tell you which one's which. So as you can see, both are very, very similar. You have very similar tones. So you have your lighter champagne, you have more of your orangey bronze, you have your darker, more mauve-y toned sparkle. And again, in the Juvia's Place, you get even more. You get mattes and stuff to play with as well. So I think that the Juvia's Place is a better deal. I also think they're much more vibrant. While I do like the Bobbi Brown one, and I think it's nice, you can see the colors just aren't nearly as vibrant as the Juvia's Place. The two orangey shades, so this one in the middle right here, and this one up top are pretty much identical, pretty much the same exact shade. The champagnes, while I think the Bobbi Brown is a little bit more yellow, the one in the Juvia's Place palette is shinier and more substantial. I think the darkest shimmers also look pretty much identical. So you can see those two, maybe if I do this, it might be easier. You can see those two colors right there. They look pretty much the same to me. The oranges look pretty much the same. I would say really a lot of the shades look identical, if not really, really, really similar. So the price difference, in my opinion, is just like a no-brainer. But that's just my opinion. But that is it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to quickly check out a couple of dupes I had in mind. I do have a dupe coming up for the Pinkasm blush from Charlotte Tilbury, so stay tuned for that. And if you like this video, please subscribe, please comment down below. You know the drill. Just press all the happy buttons on the page, and I'll see you soon.